doing some maintenance on my plants. Thought it would be a good time to do an update video. Let's go with the grow tent first this time, and then we'll look at the terrarium later. Yeah, I have a lot of new veitchii. So, and also I'm prepping this space in the middle because I want to move some of my large helis from my terrarium into here because it's running out of room in the terrarium for a very tall helis. So I'll put them here in the middle area where there's a bit more vertical space. And also, I'm out of ideas on what to do with this vine other than these vines to cut them. I think one of them is a tenui, one of them is a nigra, one of them is a intermis, and there's probably some dubia in there. So yeah, maybe you'll get some more light as they reach to the second floor here. Anyway, so I'll probably just pull out one of these trays. I'll move it down here, and we can start taking a look at some of the plants. So these two trays are, I think, not mostly veitchii. They're all veitchiis. So we'll take a look at some of them. So let's lay out the tray down here so we can take a look at some of these veitchiis. I think it's all veitchiis in this tray. Some of them are still little babies. I won't talk too much about them. We'll go over them real quick, I guess. But I have a few very heavy hitters, I say, on the wallets, so to say. Let's start with one in the corner here. This one is a veitchii M. Heard it was a confirmed female. And I guess Carnivorous sometimes sells cuttings of this one. So when they have veitchii M female, this one's probably the same one. And here's a very old picture. It's very aged already. But you can see how tubby it is, how wide the mouth is. When the peristome, I guess, bronzes up like this. It starts out a bit striped, and it kind of bronzes up. So very nice. But it being female, I guess, makes it potential future breeder. We have here... Well, actually, no, let's talk about these ones over here. Okay, so, yeah, these are the heavy hitters on the wallet. This one is a Jeff Wong. So, I try to pick it up without damaging it. Jeff Wong. Look at that picture. Look how tall the peristome is and the striping. And also, look at this smaller picture is very old now, right? Like, it's the second on the line here. So this one's been aged a while, and it still maintains its color. It looks exactly like the one that opened more recently. And even though this recent one is still kind of old also. So it's taking its time right now. But yeah, the pictures just age amazingly. As in they keep their color and everything. It's also, the body is so red. The striping is so nice, and the peristome is so tall. And it can't wait until it gets larger, so it's more squat. So like this is kind of between the small, like intermediate baby pictures versus the larger, like squat shaped pictures. And even this is not like the maximum size of veitchii. Veitchii get, I don't have a full-size veitchii yet. So, but anyways, this one is Candy Dreams, another one of the famous veitchiis. Nice pictures, the speckling on the body. Candy Dreams also has a bit of speckling on the leaves. I don't know if I could get that to show. Maybe I'll have a picture of it. But Candy Dreams, very nice round shape. Although this again is not the final form. This is still like when it gets even more mature, it'll be more round. And I think maybe maybe I need a bit of a cooler conditions for it to be more pink. But you can see my Jeff Wong is way more pink, just looking at it, than the Candy Dreams. Although the speckling on the Candy Dreams picture body is quite amazing. And then also I want to talk about, like, look at the leaf jump. I have a recent leaf jump in this Candy Dreams. It's so big. So here's the first leaf here. That's when I first got it. It was like a cutting. So it's I can't even speak right now. Acclimatizing to my conditions. And then here is the second leaf, a little bit bigger with a nice picture on it. The picture also a bit bigger. And here's the new leaf. It is gigantic. Well, compared to the other leaves. But yeah, so looking forward to see how it changes. Now let's talk about some of the other veitchiis. A lot of these are from Carnivoro or Red Leaf Exotics. And a few other growers, I guess. Here's a 0001. Nothing too much to say about it yet. These are still too young to tell. But here's a recent picture. It got crushed beside another pot, so can't really say too much about its weird shape. But I don't know. It's going to be a long time before we could say anything else about these other than if there's striping on them or not. So one thing though is you could kind of see if, like, for example, some of these veitchii, when they age, the pictures turn like a solid color. The peristome is solid, like turns one color. Although it like starts out striped, starts out like this, but ends up like that, which is nice, to have a few. I like this one. This one's all red, nice and red at the end. Although a few, end up like bronze like that. which, I mean, I don't know. I don't particularly like the bronze ones, but, you know, some people really like the hobo veitchii. Hobo as in it has no stripes at all, one solid color. But you know, I do like to have a few that are, you know, turned up a nice color like this. And of course, the ones that maintain its striping are also very stunning, right? So like the GF Wong, when it ages, it doesn't turn one solid color, seems like. So yeah, it's hard to tell for the juvenile ones. Maybe you kind of see that come into play, but the only thing I can say about these right now is are the pictures striped or not. So that's all I could say. Like, oh, this one has some striping, so as it grows in the future, maybe it will maintain its stripes. And some of these baby ones, like you can see, might have a little stripe on its peristome. It could develop it much later, but if it has it right now, there's a good chance that it will have striping in the future. So yeah, I mean, that's all you can say about them. The picture shape, everything else about the picture, you can't really tell anything about these juvenile ones because they will change shape drastically as they age. But anyways, so I have a 0001 from Carnivorous. I think I have another 001 somewhere here, but I guess when we find it, we'll get to it. This one is a JB Cross Cobra. I guess this one doesn't have a car code, but still a little baby one. Nothing too much to say about them. I see a few little stripes on the picture on the right there, so maybe it'll have stripe in its future. This one is a 0441 Akazukan Cross Burial Marood Cross Candy, Best Clone Cross Akazuma Cross Burial. This one has some speckling on its pictures, so that's another thing that you could say from when they're juvenile. And I think, does this one have any stripes? Oh, no, that's from a different picture. I can't say I see any stripes on the peristome of this one yet. So, yeah, the one with stripes comes from this pot, which is a 0267. So nothing too much to say about it. Still, little baby, veitchii, tiny little plant, but its picture is very red already. So, although I can't really say too much about it. I think when they're smaller, I don't know, the picture walls are thinner or something. Maybe they're more affected by the light. I have no idea, but who knows? So we'll keep an eye on it, but nothing is guaranteed when you're young. Oh, another 0441. So I have two 041s, right? Yeah, so this one's another 0441. Does this one have any stripes? Oh, this one, yeah, it has a little stripe on this one. That's one I mentioned earlier. So yeah, so who knows? Maybe they'll both have stripes, or maybe one won't and one will. Here's a 0168 and 0102. There's nothing too much to say about these. Again, I see a little striping on the leaves, but right now they all look kind of the same. It's going to take a while before they each start to differentiate. Here's a 0242. This one looks pretty nice though. Nice potential. Nice red on the peristome. Crimson red. So I'm excited to see how this one changes. Here's a veitchii K Cross Burial Squat from Carnivorous. This one doesn't have a car code. Is that the same one as this one? No, that's the JB Cross Code. So both of these don't have car codes. Interesting. Still a little baby. Can't really say too much about them. A whole bunch of other baby ones. I guess I'll go over the taller ones, or the larger pots first, before we talk about the small babies. So back here we have, I think this one's from UE Grows. And then this one is a K2 Cross Candy Stripe Cross Candy. Although this one doesn't seem like I have any, got one without any stripes maybe. Who knows? Although sometimes the stripes develop way later in its life. So I think Carnivorous Big Mama or something, they said took a long time for that one to even get any stripes at all. This one is interesting. This one is from Burial Cross Candy Candy Yamada. Burial Cross Candy Yamada. And this one, look how speckled this picture is. It doesn't even look like a veitchii. I wonder if there's some other species got introgressed in here, but it's hard to say. It's so speckled. So who knows? I'll have to wait for it to grow bigger. And then this other one here is 0253. So I think that 0253 I have has no stripes. Although I think I got another one. I think the other one I got did have stripes. So I forgot if it was in here and we already saw it, or if it's in my other tray. I think it's in my other tray. But this one seems like it'll be one with no stripes. So who knows? Maybe it'll take a while for it to come out, or maybe it'll just be a hobo one. Got a few A's, and these are just baby ones. Here's from Black Ridge Carnivores. This one is can't read it from the camera. Thai Borrow Giant Cross Candy Dreams. I think I have a couple of these. Here's another one. This one is Thai Burrow Giant cross variegated. So I think the seeds originally came from probably Carnivorous. I think I saw those seeds there, but I guess they germinated and started selling it. Here's another Thai Burrow Giant cross Candy Dreams. So I have a few to experiment with. I have a couple of pots from Wise Exotics, these little seedlings. I think I got 3 and 2, but one of them make it, so now it's 2 and 2. But they're still very, very small, so I can't really say too much about them. In fact, the pot is so small that I don't have the plant tags that Wise Exotics provided with me because they're too big right now. I'll use them later as they graduate up to a larger pot size. So I'm not using these tiny little plant tags right now, but I forget what they were. This one's a Ritz Cross Barrio M2. And then this one, the name for this one is really, really long. So, but anyways, they're still little babies, so not too much to say about them. Got a veitchii, Candy Cross, Candy Red. I don't even know where I got this one from. I have it all written down in a document, but I don't have it with me right now, so I can't remember off the top of my head. And here's an 0062. So I just got another 0062 off an auction. At basically the same price I got this one at. So, and then that one was way, way, way bigger. So I thought, try it out. I think it was like this sized, whereas this one's still tiny. So might as well try to get another one. And then, yeah, I think that is all the veitchii. So pull the tray down, and we can take a look at some of the plants in this other tray. Some just basically all more veitchii. So we'll start off with this one. This one is a 207, I think. 207, yeah. This one was originally down on the bottom, but it was like it was growing so fast compared to all my other veitchii. I did a repot, and the repot kind of took out a few pictures. I don't know why. I guess it got stunted a bit, but it's coming back. Here's a new picture. Newest picture looks like this. Nice striping, and it ages pretty nicely. And I don't know if it's getting kind of sunburnt or something, but it seems to be the leaves are more red than some of my other veitchii. Maybe it's because of the taller pot. It's closer to the lights. But yeah, 207. I guess nothing too much to say about it for now. It's still too hard to say anything about these as they are still so young. This one is K1 cross M2. Why is this picture so full of fluid? I don't know why, but it's not like I sprayed them down too much. But K1 cross M2. This one seems like it's a hobo. I don't see any stripes. There's a little bruising. That's not a stripe on the newest pictures. So could be a hobo one. This one's from Red Leaves. Down here, this one is JB Cross Cobra, which I think I had in the other tray also. So I have more than one here. And it kind of just looks like that. A lot of speckling on these pictures. Seems like it will have some stripes on its peristome though. This one is the one I mentioned that the peristome colors up to a nice red color at the end. This is a candy stripe. So I guess everyone calls their veitchii candy. But candy stripe or candy or whatever. This picture got kind of crushed beside a pot, so it looking a bit wonky, but this is kind of generally how it will color up and look like for now. I'll have to wait and see if it gets more tubbier in the future or more long. There's a BE3734 down here. Just, the normal burial veitchii. Looking kind of nice with the stripes. So keep an eye on it for the future. Got the speckling, got the stripes. Kind of like a squat shape, I guess. It's hard to tell about the shape, though, when they're so young. It can change drastically. This one is I think this one's a Carnivorous one. 253. 253. This one kind of looks like this as it's growing. Very nicely striped. And very tall, although the picture was kind of crushed, I think, also as it was growing, so it's kind of looking a bit wonky, but a bit tall. And as it ages, this one ends up like this red color also, like this one here. Not as bright red. Try to get the focus right. So more of a darker red, not as deep red like this one, or maroon or something. I don't know. This one's more darker, but still nice and red. So kind of interesting. What is this one? This one is a PPO3. I think I have 3 PPO3s. So PPO3, PPO3. So these 3 are PPO3s, and look how long they are. It's a veitchii, but this one probably won't be squat, but it's a long boy. I think I have another long one. So this one down here, look how long it is. Just a long tube. So interesting. Have a little variety. Veitchii are have a lot of variety in them. So extremely long on PPO3. Interesting. This one is a bee, veitchii bee, although I can't really say much about it. It looks like it's not a hobo though, as in it has a few stripes here and there. Try to get the focus right, but still too young to tell, right? These veitchii are still very small, little baby ones. This one has some nice stripes on it though. Getting kind of tubby, but still a baby. This one's really nice looking. This one, what is this one? This one is, I think it's Akazuken Crossbarrio. Yeah, Plants That Eat, Akazuken Crossbarrio. I think they still have some for sale, I think. But this one looks so nice. Actually, we should talk about this one first. This is the variegated one. The variegated veitchii. I don't know if it makes pictures, though. No one has shown me a picture from this one. And it's also very scary, because I think it grows so slowly because it's variegated. This is the one new leaf it has made under my care. It unfurled this one. This one unfurled. And then this is completely new. So having one completely new leaf, at least, you know, makes me a bit less scared. But look how little chlorophyll it has, right? So it's like on the edge of death. And it's growing so slowly. And I don't know, maybe the next time I make a video, this won't be here. This was very expensive, and it could just be like dead next time we see this. So yeah, I don't know. It's a gamble, I guess. But this one looks really nice. This one is what's the Akazuken Crossbarrio. Nice rose tinted peristome with the stripes. Starts out very stripy. A nice pink body. So this one I think has good potential for the future. And it's like so blurry I can't focus it. There you go. So even when aged, so the small pictures are of course older, it doesn't really like completely fill out lose its stripes. So it keeps its stripes, has a little bit rose tinting to it, nice picture body color that's kind of red, and hopefully one of those ones that becomes a nice for crossing with in the future. Who knows? But tuck this guy back. This one back here is K1 Cross MC from Red Leaf. This one's a hobo one probably. So the picture shape looks nice, but doesn't look like it has any stripes. So seems like one of those bronze ones. This one is another BE3734. So nothing too much to say about this one, although this one doesn't have a picture yet. The other picture kind of died off. So it's still, I think this one's one of my newer ones, but it's been here for a few months now, I think, and it's still not fully acclimatized. So it's still doing its own thing. This one flowered, and I tried to cross it with the pollen from my princess mashed potatoes, and I guess it didn't work out. The flower did not set any seeds, so I guess the cross is too unholy for this world. I should have crossed it with my other veitchii. That was just bronze peristome, but this one I guess has a nice striping on its peristome, but I guess right now it's suffering because of its flower. It's gonna sulk for a bit because it put all its energy into that flower. I'll probably put a few more fertilizer pellets in there for it. But yeah, and then we talked about these were the PPO3s. This one, which one was this one? This one's a veitchii B. Yeah, nothing much to say about it right now. Yeah, I think that's all my veitchii in here. I still have a few stragglers in some other trays, but that is the bulk of my veitchii collection. And of course, can't really say too much about most of them until they get much bigger. But yeah, we'll see how they look like as time goes on. Anyways, let me pull down the other two trays. So I do want to do some maintenance, and I kind of want to group all my cephs together into one tray, and then, and move some of the Neps and Helis over into the other tray. I think I still have some room down there for some Helis. So maybe I'll shuffle things around a bit and see. So moving on to the next tray. This tray doesn't have too much in there, so just go over it real quick. First of all, I can't really keep Nepenthes alive. This one is dead now. Some random Nepenthes from some location. But I guess they don't really like the colder highland temps. But got some divisions of some helis. This one is a Pachella from Cherry Tipui. Just have a bunch of divisions everywhere just in case the mother plant dies. I think the mother plant of these guys are all in my terrarium. But yeah, this is H minor from Carnivorous Plants Nurseries, a little baby division. This one's another H minor, I think. I use this one as my experimentation pot, where this one was kind of infected with scale a while ago, and it had a lot of scale, and I doused it with like every single pesticide, systematic pesticide I could find, and just to see if it will kill the plant. And it has not died, so I guess those pesticides are safe to be used on my other plants. So, and then I don't see any more scale. So it seems like the systematic pesticides have done their trick, and the plant is looking pretty nice now. Nice big pictures. Probably could do with a bit more light though. I guess the light levels here are kind of good for neps, but I think maybe the helis like a bit more light. This one is a Ventricosa alba. I think it's an alba C. The pictures were more white when they first opened, and these are kind of old now. So now it's more of a reddish blush. Still looks really nice. Another alba C down here. Picture. Got the little ivory color with the red blush, so it's very nice looking. And then when they first open up, they're very white. And yeah, so this one, I heard all of these ventricosas sometimes open up their pictures in like flushes. So it makes a couple and it waits a while where there's no pictures, and then after a while it makes some more. It's kind of my experience with the other ones down there. I have a what's it called, the Longwoods clone, and then another random alba. So we'll take a look at them for comparison later on. But yeah, this one's also, they're all different. I like each alba is a bit different, so I do like it. Here is a new plant that I just got recently, Spectabilis. Still kind of sulking, adjusting. So nothing too much to say. I think the pictures are just right now still shedding. Oh no, here's one. Maybe this one's a new picture. Kind of tangled in there, so I don't want to take it out, otherwise it's going to rip it off. But Spectabilis. Oh, I could kind of untangle it right now. Yeah, nothing too much to say, just a regular Spectabilis. I think it's from Carnivorous. A bunch of random seedlings. I need to repot these. I think the moss is choking out the ceph. So this one is completely like gone because the moss is just taking over. These are just some typicals, I think. Unless I labeled the pot. Yeah, I think they're just typicals. And yeah, nothing too much to say about these little baby ones. Need to repot these. This one is Hummer's Giants. So my Hummer's Giants never look like Hummer's Giants for some reason. They always look like just a regular. Maybe I just got a bad clone. Although this one's from a very reputable grower. So I don't know. Maybe just under my conditions. Maybe they need more or less light or whatever to get their unique features. I have no idea. Probably need to give it a bit more, or sorry, a bit less light. But it could be a whole bunch of things like soil acidity or just humidity, or I don't know. But my Hummer's Giants never look like Hummer's Giants. This one is Moon Palm. It's kind of suffering, I think. I think it's a lowlander, and it's in my highland tank. I don't have a lowland tank, so it is still just chugging along slowly. But you know, it has lowland papery leaves. Lowlanders are sometimes very papery like this. Whereas the highlanders are more like waxy. But I don't know. It's making pictures, but it's supposed to look like a little palm tree. But I think all neps look like a little palm tree if you cut them the right way. But anyways, nobody knows what it is, I guess. So it'd be interesting to see what it is as it grows up. I don't really do hybrids too much, but I guess this one is a hybrid from, what is it? Naga cross Lowii. And this was given to me for free from an eBay sale, but so thank you to the seller. But look how dark it is. I guess it's that Naga dark coloring coming in. A little smaller picture. I don't know which one's the largest. Maybe this one back here, newest one. For the newest picture, or is this one newer? I think this one is. Oh, this one's still inflated. So yeah, so hybrid. I don't really do hybrids, but it's very nice looking, I guess. This one, I think last time we saw it, it was basically dead, but it's coming back alive. This one is veitchii Weiner Giant. I guess I don't know if that's a German name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but seems to be coming back. Probably should remove this little humidity dome. We got some Sarraceni oides back here, just my cuttings off my mother plants. They're getting big now. Probably need to sell them off. And I think that is all that is in here for now. Have more room for plants, but I'm going to shuffle over the cephs so that all the cephs are together, and then all the neps are together, just for some organizational purposes. Before I forget, I just noticed that the Naga cross Lowii thing has a little basil shoot coming off. So that's a nice bonus. Didn't notice that. But anyways, for the next tray, start off with princess mashed potatoes. Got a nice lumpy potato-shaped pictures. This one's newly unfurling. Look at the chunkiness of that. And then, yeah, I really like, I mean, I don't really do hybrids, but this is one of those unique hybrids where it's like all the other seedlings from the hybrid look like normal neps, and then one turned out all mutated like this. So this one's very unique. It's princess mashed potatoes, but it's actually like male. So I have pollen from it, from a flower I got. And I tried to cross it, I think I mentioned earlier, with the veitchii female flower, but I guess it's probably so mutated that it's sterile. So that flower did not set any seed. I guess the creation is too unholy for this world. But imagine that cross though. So, pretty nice plants. So I have two, so just one here, and I have a larger princess mashed potatoes down there. The other one is making basils, but we'll talk about that later. Over here in the corner, this one's repotting. So this one's being neglected. I have two repotting. The other one's doing great. It has really nice looking pictures, and it's inside my terrarium. But this one in my grow tent has always been in the corner. In my terrarium too, it was being shaded, and also now it's in the corner here, where it's like getting no light and it's getting shaded by another veitchii. So yeah, it's not doing too hot. All the pictures are kind of mutated and wonky looking. Like, look at this one's, it's opened up before it even finished inflating, has no lid, and yeah, so it's like no lid or whatever, it's dying basically. So I'm going to move it to a better spot. I mean, it's not dying, it's still growing larger and larger leaves, it's just that it's not doing its best. This one is just a normal veitchii from, I think, the Batubuli clone one. It's just, with the bronze peristome. Nothing too interesting about it, but it flowered twice. This is the second flower I just cut off. And I collected the pollen, but because, the flowers drain a lot of energy, and now it has like no pictures. All the new leaves are small and stunted and weird looking. So yeah, hopefully it recovers now that's finished flowering. Down here we have, this one's a new heli that I don't have in my terrarium, so it's the only one I have. It's a Pilosa vein giant. So, I think this is a AW1 Pilosa or something, the minor Pilosa. So minor Pilosa has these little hairs on it. The normal minor is not as hairy, but I don't know. Looks pretty nice. Got a few cuttings of my cephs, so some squat cuttings. Here's another squat one. I think this one needs a repot because of moss. Like, it's so dense. I hate this moss. I can't get rid of it, it seems like, but it probably needs a repot so I could save it from the moss. This one is what? This one is vigorous clumping, so doing okay. This one is doing amazing. Look at this one. I think I've got a ruler here. Let me get my ruler. I think the pictures are like 2 inches long. So here we go. Let's take a look at the inches here. Put it right beside. Yeah, that is like 2 inches, man. It's kind of hard because it's like 3D shaped. So maybe this one's a bit bigger. It's almost 2 inches. So from my perspective, my camera, you could see it like, it's like, oh, it's not as 2 inches, but I feel like that's the lens of the camera. It actually is. From when I look at it in real life, I could see that it's more like this here. I guess it's more fair. I don't know. Anyways, it's huge. So yeah, all my Hummers Giants should look like this, but they don't look like this. I don't know why. But this one is the Agnes clone. So very nice. I'm very impressed with this one. Probably needs a repot. This one is German Giant. Cutting of my German Giant. Doing pretty good. A few random Heliamphora cuttings. I don't even know what that is anymore. It's probably written on the pot. Heterodoxa. Okay, so the Heterodoxa I have is like this one. It's a cutting from this one, but it's not Heterodoxa. Like, this is not how the lid should look like. This one was originally from Carnivorous Plants Nurseries, and it was labeled Heterodoxa when it sold to me, but I don't think it is Heterodoxa. I don't know what it is, so who knows. This one is OG Black from Brimsky. I think he has a store now. I forgot what it was called, but he's selling more of these cephs. I don't know if it's any darker than my other ones, but I mean, it's not as green as this one. But yeah, I guess it is darker than a bunch. I have to say though, Eden Black, I have an Eden Black somewhere, but it's not as black as people say it is. Maybe I need more light, like sunlight or something. Here's a Capensis from some random location, but you can see my Capensis are not doing too hot. A Regia I got here seems to be doing nice. This one was from Flore. Unfortunately, back here, I didn't see this. This pot, I guess, was like lifted on the corner here. So this is completely dry because it was never getting any water into the pot. So this cutting of Chinamatensis, I think it was, has died. His beta. I have many though, so not too much of a loss. That's the benefit of having more space. You could keep making cuttings, just to have backup plants. Yeah, I think I win overall. This one, what is what? This one. This one is another Ceph, little baby. Hummer's Giant, cross Hummer's Giant. So okay, these are from my seedlings I crossed myself. My so-called Hummer's Giants. They flowered and I selfed themselves. So yeah, I don't know. Probably they all need a repot because the moss is just taking them over. And I'll probably move all my Cephs into one tray just so that I could keep the water more favorable for the Cephs. And then, same for the Neps and stuff. I gotta move these guys around. Probably move this guy maybe on the bottom there. Maybe there's room on the bottom. But yeah, that's basically the top floor. And let's now talk about some of the stuff on the bottom. Gonna go over some of the plants in the bottom section here. It's just nothing too interesting to see right now because it's kind of like winter, and I think it's because the humidity is a bit low. It's about 40% right now in here. There are not a lot of pictures on some of the vines or whatever. It's kind of dry here in the winter, but some plants are still doing okay. First of all, I guess I moved the Rapcanthii down here, so let's see how this one does over the next few months. On top here, there's a nice Leonardo picture. This is the newest one. Very nice, tubby, round, quite large. You can see the old one is only this big, so there's a nice jump in size. Maybe it'll color up to be this red color too as it ages. But I have like 3 Leonardo. So this is a newer one I got. This one is from it's a clone from Wistuba. This one is a clone from BCP, from this mount whatever. And then back there is from Flore, and I think it's originally from Malaysia Tropicals. So that one back there isn't doing as hot for me. It always makes this like tiny little picture, like this one right here that's browned, and then the picture just like dies. So it doesn't really hold its pictures, whereas this one makes really nice large pictures and it holds it for a while. So I don't really know. They're kind of in the same area, but one doesn't really like its conditions that much. Got my large Uncinata. This is an Uncinata giant, which is getting too big for my terrarium, so I had to move it out here. It's like flowering and everything, but I don't really deal with trying to pollinate these or anything. I should just cut them off. We got that's a Nebulineae. I can't pronounce it right now, but yeah, it's just a cutting off the mother plant. I have so many cuttings of those right now. And then this little tree-looking thing is dubia from Carnivorous. So I have a dubia already. So one of these vines is a dubia vine, but I don't really know if it's a true dubia. It's like a seed-grown one from Jeremiah Harris, but I don't know. Maybe there's some like introgression with some other pollen from somewhere else because there's so many plants. But I don't know if these pictures are true dubia pictures. I never seen the lid on it reflects like 170 degrees or whatever. So anyways, I got another dubia. Hopefully this one will be a more true one and compare them or something like that. Beside that, that's a Manta linguagenensis. Nice larger picture. Seems to be liking its new environment. It wasn't doing as hot in my terrarium. Maybe it was too cold or something, but pretty nice. It's making a new picture back there too, so it's kind of inflating in the corner there. And then we have what is it? This one was supposed to be a Siri gaunensis, but this is the one with the long pictures. But I don't really know if it's a true Siri gaunensis because it doesn't really look like it. I don't really know if that's what it looks like when it's juvenile or if it's just a mislabeled plant. But yeah, got a few other new plants. I think this one's a Mira. There's nothing too interesting to say about that. It's just a BE Mira I got from Carnivorous. I just want some more Palawan Nepenthes just to compare with. I think I mentioned a Leonardo. These are just some regular Uncinata cuttings from some location, I forget. And then more random little cuttings everywhere of some helis, just some. I think that one's Ewok. I forget what this one is. More Uncinatas. Just random cuttings. So nothing too interesting to talk about. On this side, we got some more Sarsenioides. I need to like sell these or something. I got some cuttings of this one H minor burgundy black. This is Ventricosa. This one's not doing too hot. I guess it's too cold down here maybe. Ventricosa, and this one's doing pretty nice. What was this? Maybe this one was Chinamatensis, I think. Let me see. Sorry. Let me get my camera straight there. Yeah, this one is just Chinematensis. Yeah, so Chinematensis, I think this is a cutting though, so my mother plant's still in the terrarium. The big one here is Attenboroughi. It's got some nice, I think it shed some of its best pictures right now because they were getting old, but here's a new one. So I have a strange Attenboroughi with no speckles on the inside. I like it, but I would like to get another one also just to compare with. It's got the nice little funnel-shaped pictures. But yeah, too bad I didn't make this video earlier because it had some nice pictures, but I think it recently shed them because they were kind of getting old. And then what else? More cuttings of some helis. There's, I think, Ewoks. I got so this one was Rob Cantley, but I got another one that was labeled, was a Nebularium. I don't know the difference between them. I know there's some arguments online about the whatever. But let's see, wait until it grows up a bit. Let's see if it gets any different. And of course, more heli cuttings of various types everywhere in the moss. I'd probably need to rescue some of these from the moss. I think like this one is like can't get any more light anymore. This one is a veitchii. That one's not doing too hot. It's still small, I guess. So we'll see how it is in the future. And I guess that's 2 trays on this side. Let's go to the next side. Alright, gonna go over these guys real quick because nothing too much to say about them. Got the, what's it called? This one was Princess Mashed Potatoes, long vine, and it's making a basil. Got little toppy potato pictures in the basil there. The basil's probably doing better than the vine. I don't know, maybe it's not humid enough up here. MEA, this one's getting out of control. Although it hasn't really made any new pictures recently, probably because it's too dry. But yeah, it's just getting too large and unwieldy. Got the Nepenthes porcelain, but this is not the true porcelain. It's just one that looks like porcelain. In the past, I did say this one just looked like a normal vent, but it seems like during the colder months, it is a bit more white looking, I guess, more porcelain looking. So I mean, this one on the left here does look pretty nice, but the actual true Longwood's porcelain is just way better. This picture, unfortunately, is getting old, so this one, we can't see it anymore. It's like kind of drying out, but you can see how white it was, right? Here's a newly unfurled one, and it hasn't colored up yet, this one, but you can see it's nice ventricular shape, and it's got the red lips and the rest of the body. This one hasn't colored up like to the white yet, but I think once we wait a bit, it gets way whiter, so it becomes like this ivory color, like this, which I think is pretty cool. This picture is from I think this tendril, yeah, this tendril comes from the non-true, the fake Longwood's porcelain one, which you can see it is red lips and white body, but I don't know, it's not as nice. It doesn't become like that ivory color, like that, which is, I think, is really nice. I have another picture back there, which it takes a while to age, I guess, but I can't get to it right now. Got a few, well, unfortunately, my inner mist tendril has shed its picture. It doesn't really keep its pictures too much, so it only gives me one picture every once in a while, and it's really quick to shed it. Also my this one was Nigra. It has never made a picture since it vined, probably because the humidity is just too low, but I don't even know which vine it is, but I think it's split off into 2 vines, and it's just growing like crazy, but it's not made a picture. And then we have the Tenui. Got a tiny little mutated Tenui picture. It was picturing way better when it was in my terrarium. All these guys were picturing in my terrarium, but outside here, I guess humidity is a bit too low, so I have to probably spray them down a bit more. I probably think about maybe adding a humidifier in here. But the Tenui is actually about to flower. I think the actual tip of the tendril, if I could find it, which is right here. I don't know if it's male or female yet, but give it some time, and I'll see. It's flowering, and I guess if it's female, I have the veitchii pollen that I could use on it. I'm not gonna try again with the what was it called, Princess Mashed Potatoes. I don't think that pollen is viable. And then there's Chaniana. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think last time I showed it, it was like the mother plant was dead and then made a basil. For some reason, the mother plant just aborted itself, but now the basil is producing pictures. I think you can see a little green picture down there. I'm not going to reach into it because it's too much of a mess. I need to clean this up, but I'll do that another day. Got more Nebliniae helis up here, just cuttings. Unfortunately, this one, it got stuck underneath the lid of the another picture, and it got kind of wonky, but otherwise it's getting really tall, really nice. It's got the glabrous stripe and everything, so very nice. Peltata doesn't have any pictures right now. I think the recent one of the pictures dried up and died. This side, I guess it kind of suffered a bit. It's basically no pictures because I let it dry out too much. So I think a lot of the pictures got shed. Got one veitchii picture still. Rienwartiana red. I don't even know if this is a true Rienwartiana because I can never see the little eye spots in there on the red version. We got Diatis, some Diatis pictures. I guess it's picturing now because it's colder. In the summer it doesn't picture because it's too hot, but it's also lower humidity right when it's colder, so it's not doing as the pictures don't look as good as they could be. And some Sibuyanensis just kept dying back. I can't really keep it alive. Sibuyanensis. That's about a random neps. I forget. I think there's like a Zumier or something. The Diatis is made a basil. I think that's a basil. Yeah, that's a basil Diatis. Yeah, a bunch of other random plants. Barcelona is also not doing too hot. It's just the humidity is not high enough, I think, in here for some of these. Yeah, and then there's a few more plants in the back. I think there's a Zachariana. That little tall one. There's a Ramispina down here somewhere. I think that's a Ramispina picture down there. Beside the Diatis. But yeah, nothing too interesting to talk about. One day I'll have to go in and clean it up, and then we could take a look at it a bit more. Also, oh yeah, there's a jamban. I think my original jamban was vining. It was big uppers. It was really nice, and then the top of the vine touched the lights and it died. But now it came back as a basil. You can see a whole bunch of little jamban pictures down there. So those are just basils. I'm waiting for the uppers again. The uppers are so nice looking. I love the little toilet shape, but I don't see any uppers in there right now, so I don't think it has vined yet. But yeah, nothing too interesting on the left side. Have to wait until I get like a fogger or something for them. Anyways, we'll take a look at the terrarium now. Let's take a look at the terrarium. You can see it's doing pretty good, but maybe a bit too good on this side where the Heliamphora are kind of getting too big. I think you could see at the very top there my expenticulata is kind of touching the top now, and Saracenoides is also getting really big. So there's a huge picture on my Saracenoides. I thought it was already mature, but it recently made a few very, very large pictures, so I guess it could get even bigger. And then over there, I think that is my heterodoxa. That is from Carnivorous Plants Nurseries. That may not be a heterodoxa. I don't know what it is. And it's also like reaching the top there. So I'm going to be moving a lot of these Heliamphora out into the grow tent where I have a bit more vertical room. And also it's kind of like blocking the airflow of my chilling radiator. So there's a radiator and it's doing all the cooling. It's kind of blocking that air. But so first things first, I'm going to move out all the big Heliamphora. Then we could take a look at all the smaller plants, and then maybe I'll go back to the grow tent and we could take a look at the Heliamphora in there. So I cleaned out some of the larger helis, moved them into the terrariums, shuffle some plants around. I guess we'll go over some of these plants. And also, I guess I kind of removed the helis like yesterday-ish, but so there's like increased airflow from the radiator. The radiator I have blowing air with a chiller attached, and it chills the air down to like below 15 Celsius, like 13 Celsius in the winter, and I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, like 53 Fahrenheit-ish, 50 to 55 Fahrenheit, kind of. But yeah, the increased airflow immediately caused my hamata pictures to kind of sulk and wither a bit. Although I don't really know it's coincidence because these were very old, and hamatas kind of like to shed their old pictures. So it could just be the sudden change in conditions made it decide to shed some of these older ones. I mean, the other hamata's doing okay, although I guess it's not really. No, I still feel breeze here. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's just old pictures or if it doesn't like a change in conditions. But I also found a whole bunch of pictures tucked in some moss between pots. They're kind of crushed. I guess we'll go over them in a bit. So let's start off with the left side here, where these are just some baby Heliamphora. Nothing too interesting to talk about, I guess. There's some species that I don't really have growing. These are Ionaceae elegans. I don't really have that much luck with Ionaceae. I don't have one with mature pictures yet. And I had one elegans one die. I had to replace it with this one. It's just like when it arrived, it just instantly melted away. All the other ones that were shipped to me were fine. It's just that one kind of instantly died. Maybe didn't like the shipping process. I don't know. It just became mush. This is a Renicola. Nothing too interesting to talk about. I need to rescue this one from the moss because I think the moss has overtaken it. Here's a. This one is a Parva, I think. This is Parva. Parva extremely hairy clone from Suro Niblina MS clone. There's a Elongata, flat lid, Ceraceae, and another Hispida cutting. So nothing too interesting to talk about here. All these are still very, very small little baby plants. Back there's a folliculata I need to remove. That's I forget which tipui it was from. It's different than other tipui. I have like 2 different folliculata tipuis. I think there's probably another uncinata back there. I do see an uncinata picture, I think. It's not a folliculata picture. Maybe it is. I don't know what is back there. Maybe it's an uncinata back there too. Like that big green picture looks like an uncinata one. We have an uncinata up front here. This one is double bubble. Don't really know what that means. Maybe it needs to get a bit more mature to see the 2 bubbles forming. I'll have to compare it to my typical uncinata one day when the typical one gets bigger. I think this one's a Pocella cutting from Chewy Tipui. I think I mentioned last time that my mother plant was doing nice and then it started to not do so good. Maybe it's because I potted it with some what's it called? Some soil media, turfus. Maybe it was contaminated with some minerals and all my turfus ones started to die. And also its mother clump was getting senescent, so like the middle bit was all like dead, so it couldn't grow any new growth points from the middle because it was all choked out. So anyway, so the divisions all seem to be doing nice. I have a Pocella here from one of the Tupuis. I think I mentioned last time this Pocella was very green. When I got it, it was all super dark red, and it just turned green, and now it's back to kind of red. So no matter how much light I gave it, it was just always green. I couldn't get it to go back to being red, but now that the temperatures are colder in the winter, it seems to be becoming red again. Hopefully the improved airflow with the cold air coming over will make it more red. We got the big red clump with the big tall picture at the back. I think it's also just it's hitting my lid. I can see it touching the plastic, so I definitely need to fix that before it becomes more mutated or deformed because of the touching the lid. But yeah, this is a heterodoxa, I think. I mean, it was supposed to be a heterodoxa, but it doesn't really look like a heterodoxa with the lid it has. So it's probably some hybrid. There's some Carnivorous Plants Nurseries, and another one from Carnivorous Plants Nurseries is Minor. Both of these were like my original test plants. I just got 2 easy plants just to see, originally way back years ago, just to test out my growing conditions. See, this Minor is getting pretty red for even being a typical Minor, and then it has the lids are starting to get the little neck on the nectar spoon again. It died back a while ago. I think I mentioned in one of my videos where I just let it dry out to be bone dry by accident. Forgot to water them, and then they all died back and it suffered a lot. But now it's coming back finally with the nicer like lids on the pictures. All the way at the back, I completely forget what's back there, honestly. I think there is a Parva in there. I see a Parva on the left, and then on the right it's something else. I completely forget what that is. I'll put the name on the video if I ever go dig it out, but forget what it is. And then at the very far back here, Sarcinoides is starting making some very, very large pictures. Look how tall that one is. I thought it was at max size, you know, when it was like around here. You can see some of these pictures are that one. So I was already at max size, but then it shot out this very, very big one. And a lot of my Sarcinoides are now starting to pump out these like huge pictures. And I mean, it's nice, but I probably need to move it though because I'm not getting any more light back there. Up front here are 2 very nice, I guess, one of the nicer helis. One is Macrodonalde, of course, one of the famous ones. Some Wistuba clone one. You know, Macrodonalde, famous for its nice veins. Some of the ones up near the light are getting kind of reddish, although the ones facing away from the light, the newer pictures, are kind of more greenish. Nice veins. I could probably get like 3 divisions off of this one. Well, last time I tried to divide it, it didn't really like being disturbed, so it kind of was sulking a bit. But I do want more divisions, so I probably, once I get more sphagnum moss shipped over to me, it's in like the mail right now, I'll probably divide a lot of them. I do need to divide a lot of these. Like, there's more dead pictures in there than living pictures, I feel like. So I haven't touched it in like years, so they all need a repot. Here is a Pocella that is hairless. So there's a Pocella hairless Murray Tipui MS clone. Some people say that this is one of the very prettiest helis, and of course you could tell the difference between a Pocella and a Minor by how the nectar spoon connects with the body. I think the Pocella has a shorter like handle or shorter like little stem. You can see that stem on this one. It's a long stem. As a matter grows more mature, the stem gets longer and longer. So the nectar spoon is held on this little neck, whereas the Pochella, the nectar spoon kind of embeds itself into the pitcher. So that eventually the pitcher will be like a little heart shape. It'll be like a heart with the at the cleft of the heart or the middle part. That's where the nectar spoon will sit. So yeah, a hairless Pochella, very nice. There's probably some other stuff back there. I think even behind this pot, there's another plant back there, but I honestly cannot reach it right now. I don't remember. It's probably just cuttings of more of the same. So more Hispida, more whatever. Let's see, what else is up front here? Here we have Tatii. I need to move this guy out because Tatii gets really big, but really nice nectar spoon formation now. Getting as these guys get more mature, the nectar spoon becomes more defined. It's flowering again. I don't really deal with their flowers. It's like very fleshy compared to the other Heliamphora flowers. But last time it flowered, I think I mentioned in my previous video, it stopped growing for a while, so I probably need to cut this off. It stunts their growth for me at least, or at least it's not getting as much light as if it could be in the middle. It was kind of shaded out by all the other plants. This guy is a heterodoxa. I forget this one was black cherry or not, but it's one of the heterodoxa ones. Got the nice big helmety nectar spoons. And then behind that is one of the carnivorous bromeliads. I think that one's reducta, the tall one. So I thought it was dying, but like it was getting kind of yellowish. I don't know if you can see it, but the leaves are kind of yellow colored. And I thought it was like, oh no, that's maybe it's starting to die. But after looking at some pictures of them in the wild, I think that's just how they look. They get a more yellowish tinge to them, and seems to be doing okay. This new leaf on the top here, that's a new leaf, so at least it's growing. We have the Hectioides down there too. Hectioides kind of lost some of its wax coating, so I don't know. Maybe it needs to be warmer, I guess. Yeah, these are kind of like close to ultra highland. Well, not ultra highland, but it's on the upper side of highland, so maybe it's too cold for them. But the Hectioides is also there. And then I don't know what the waxy coating is called for bromeliads. I know it's like farina or something for cacti, but I don't know if it's the same thing here. I mean, they're all wax, right? So who knows? Up front here is some hamata. This hamata is pretty nice. This hamata is like, I don't know if it picks up in the camera. I noticed my camera has different color filtering depending on what zoom level. You can see it's a bit more red on this zoom level and a bit less, so it depends on which imaging sensor it's using. But I would say this zoom level is more realistic to its color. It's like it's a tinge of red on this one, and I can't tell if it's because it's its clone or if it's because it's just younger than this one. This one is very dark in comparison, right? Unfortunately, yeah, the pictures are now sulking and it's kind of like wilting away. But when it was alive, this one was very, very dark in comparison, whereas this one I could always see a tinge of red, right? So I don't know if it's because it's just younger, like it's a smaller plant, and then it still has this red tinge color, or it's because they're different clones. But anyways, this one is a male, I believe it's one, and this one is female. AW clone 1, it's supposed to be female. I forget where they were from though. One of them was Tampou CC, one of them was Lamut. I think I have 2 Lamuts and 1 Tampou CC, and there's another one over there that maybe from a different location. Yeah, I just have the Tampou CC on the moods. We have Aristo. Aristo is doing great. I dug this picture out like it was dug like deep between the pots, kind of crushed, but look how gigantic it is compared to all its previous pictures. I mean, its previous pictures are nice. I thought this was the size of its adult picture here, that at least on this size of plant. I know they get bigger, but here is massive size, massive hunchback on that thing, little bird's nest kind of thing going on. Unfortunately, the very next picture, this one, was like shoved in the mouth of one of these Heli pictures. It was like embedded in there, and then I had to pull it out, and it was already all wonky, so this one didn't grow to its maximum potential. But yeah, it has like 2 growth points now, maybe 3. I need to double check and dig them out, and all of its pictures are very nice, doing very nice. Probably look more impressive once I completely dig it out and then have it on its own. I have a tiny little lingulata picture. Nothing too much to say about them. I think the lingulata kind of like self-divided into multiple plants. We have a Jacquelineae buried in the moss. Jacquelineae never did well for me. I don't really know, something about my growing conditions it doesn't like. Maybe I need to put it in a tent where it's less cold. Maybe it's too cold in here. Also, the hamata has a little basil, so there's a basil that's also sprouting a bunch of pictures. I should remove it because I know the basil drains energy from the mother plant, but I don't really want to go in and cut stuff right now. We have Unda tiliafolia back here with the wavy leaves. The wavy leaves and I forget what this was called. the peltate kind of thing. Is it peltate? I don't know. I don't know what it's called. But anyways, yeah, it's we got some. I dug this picture out. This one was stuck between two pots, so it's kind of like flattened horizontally. But yeah, look at that. Look at the size of that. I have a nicer one back there, but when we go around to the other side, I'll show you. And then we also have an intermiss. Oh, there's another new hamata picture back there. The hamata pictures are very papery, but there's a new hamata picture back there. But all these hamata pictures are kind of collapsing. I think I mentioned it was probably due to the higher airflow drying them out. It doesn't really like the changing conditions. But as long as the plant itself is fine, I don't really care about the pictures. Pictures come and go. Up front here is a Diabolica. So I recently got this one from, I think, Carnivorous. And this picture is new. So I just made this picture under my care. And then this picture was like kind of still inflating when it shipped over, but it also basically matured under my care. So I say that because I'm glad that it's growing, because I haven't had too much luck with little Diabolicas. So you could see its dead brethren is right here. Just cultivating moss in here now. But I think it's because, like, I think they come from TC. Maybe they're still too weak to be shipped, and transportation in the summer or whatever, and then moving into the terrarium probably just kills them off. So I thought I'd get a slightly larger one where it's more robust. And it seems to be doing okay, knock on wood, you know. We'll see once it grows a few more leaves, a few more pitchers. I'm going to try to fill these up with some fertilizer pellets. Hopefully it does okay. This one is just, I think this one's male, clone 14. I know there's one that's female. I'll try to get one of those also. And I also have a intermiss back there, baby intermiss. Don't know if I talked about this one earlier, but here's a lower picture, I guess, on the intermiss. I have 2 cones. The one in my tent, though, doesn't really picture that much. It just makes like one picture every few months. It doesn't make pictures often enough to maintain a picture constantly on its vine. So it's not even like it always has one picture. It's like one picture and it dies and it slowly inflates a new one. So you can only see it occasionally. Let's take a look at the right side. So some of these neps are not going to stay on the right. I'm going to move them back to the left, but or into the tent. But let's take a look at the Undatilia folia that I couldn't take a look at earlier because couldn't get the angle right. But seems to have some nice pictures back there where they're like nice and roundish. Oh, I still can't even get a good grip on these. This one is huge. Look at the size of this one. Undatilia folia. Nice and round. Very nice plant. I won't disturb it too much. What else do we have? Another hamata. Forget which location this one was from. Either Tabu-Sisi or Lamu. A bunch of pots cultivating moss. I think this one was probably my dead Draculiniae from a long time ago. And just cultivating moss in there. I think this one was there was once a heli in here. And this one didn't make it. Maybe that one was the Ionacii. But we got, this one was some little baby lowy eyes. I got two lowy eyes. Nothing too much to say about these. They're still babies. The big one is Repotting. So I think I have the other one in the tent right now. That's all suffering. That one with the mutated looking pictures and no lids and all that. That one kind of wasn't getting enough light. Wasn't getting enough anything. This one is doing fine though. See the size of these pictures. The only problem was that because it's so big, it's getting like crushed in the terrarium. There's not enough room, so I probably have to move it to the tent also. But Repotting, I don't really know the difference between it and Nebularium. Some people say there's a difference in flower size or the darkness of the tendrils, whereas Nebularium has darker tendrils. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert, but doing pretty good. I think this is the most recent picture, but this picture was kind of crushed between all the other plants, so I don't know if it came out kind of wonky-ish. I just dug it out. It took a lot of untangling to get this guy out. Here's its oldest picture. It keeps its picture for a long time, so it's like one of those veitchii where it just holds a lot of old pictures, which is really nice. But yeah, I mean, look at the new leaf. Nice. I do spray my plants a bit, and I don't know, they don't really get too much of the little speckles that people say they get. Look at the little veins in there. Got little red veins. We have a Pittopatangia. This one's the ivory colored form. I think this one was from Flore, I think. Pittopatangia. I have to double check if it was Flore. But nice upper. I don't know if it has another one coming though. Whenever they vine, they seem to make less pictures. Probably either because they just do, or maybe it's at the upper levels. It's warmer or a different climate, kind of lower humidity. I don't know. Here's the other Pittopatangia that's not ivory color form, but it's not making any uppers. They were at the same size when I got them. For some reason, this one immediately started vining, and this one has not. But here's how its lower pictures will look like. So very different from the uppers. Gotta wait until it makes uppers tweaker before we could do any comparisons. Got some random pots of cuttings of helis. I think some of these are minors more. Pachellas. Yeah, nothing too much to say about these. I think this one's also Pachella, I forget. And I guess we'll take a look at some of the ones in the back. I'll probably need to remove this tray so for us to take a better look. But this one here is H minor burgundy black. So I don't know, my other H minor, my normal H minor is pretty red now. This one is a bit darker at the pictures at the back. The pictures in the middle are kind of senescent, as in like it's like the middle of the mother clump, so it's all like dead in the middle. I can't really, I need to go in and divide it up, I guess. But otherwise, yeah, if I turn it around, it's probably pretty red at the back there. Don't really know if it is black though. Some of these names like Eden black or burgundy black, they're not as black as black would be. We got a Preferences, getting nice and big now. Came as a little small little juvenile plant. So, and a whole bunch of other plants I don't really remember. I don't remember what. Oh, this is still Preferences, I think. Still just. This is Ionaceae, another Ionaceae, still juvenile. This one is a nice H minor. I think this one is like one of those giant ones. MS giant. You look at the neck on that nectar spoon. See that neck? That nectar spoon on that picture on the right? It's so nice. And the one in the middle. I really like how this looks. Got the little hook, or not the hook, the stem. And the nectar spoons on that stem. So that's a giant form of H minor, I think. At the very far back, there's a parva in there, and a whole bunch of other plants I don't remember. I need to go maintain them. More Pachellas from different locations. This one's pretty red on this side of the terrarium. And there's a Pachella back there that's suffering from some chlorosis. I don't even know if I could find it with the camera. So I'm going to have to work that out later. You see that little green one there back there? Suffering from chlorosis. We got, it's either a Hubria. I think that the big one is Hubria. Unfortunately, all the pictures are turning away from us, and the one that is facing us is already red, but Hubria does have some veins on it, like Macrodonode does, but it's more faint. Not an Electrum, I think it's the Venomel, now called Electrum. I can see its picture sticking out from there. And over here, oh, that's a typical Uncinata from one of the locations. It still needs to get way bigger before I could really compare it with the other varieties I have. Got a big Expendiculata. This one's getting gigantic, reaching the top. I need to remove this one. We have Colina. Oh no, this is not Colina. This is... Maybe it is Colina. Yeah, this one I think is Colina. We have Ewok, Expendiculata. And then we have... this one is a minor that is hairy. I think it's supposed to be a giant one, right? H minor Varpalosa giant. From Aguen Tipui MS clone. So this one's not getting enough light, so you can see when they're not getting enough light, they get all elongated like this. So I need to move this one down to the middle. And then let me move this pot out so we can actually see the other few plants in here. Let's turn the tray around real quick so we can see some of these plants. Up front here is a BCP Palawanensis. Got some nice pictures. This one is nice and tubby looking. Right. Got one hanging down here. Palawanensis was a smaller picture. But yeah, it has a few multiple growth points. There was 3 growth points. I cut one off and put them in my tent. And I think Palawanensis is supposed to be slightly hairy. It's just that I can barely see the hairs on this one. I don't know when they say slightly hairy, how hairy is that supposed to be compared to Attenborougii? This one's supposed to be more hairy. I mean, I do see a few hairs on the developing picture here. It's kind of hard to see. So when they say tiny hairs, is this what they mean by tiny hairs? So I have 2 Palawanensis. There's this one, and I have another one. This one, when I saw it on the pictures, I did see more hairs on its picture. So I'm wondering if it will be more hairy. I think it has a tiny, hasn't really inflated the picture for me yet. It's been sulking the whole time. But maybe this guy? Do we see some hairs on this one? Can't get the focus right. I don't know. I don't know if that counts as being covered with a layer of tiny hairs for them to be a true species or not. Who knows? Probably need to let them grow up a bit more. But still very nice looking pictures. We got Gatungensis or something. This one is from BCP Gatungensis. Gatongensis from Clone 2 from Mount Gatong. I have 2 of these. The other one is still in the tent, very, very tiny, little baby one. I think it melted away, I mentioned. It's bigger when it came, and then it just died for some reason. Maybe it's because of the TC thing, you know. But yeah, this one is doing nice. That's how the picture looks like. Gatongensis. Weird name. It probably has another big picture back here. I can fish it out. This one is also nice. And then here's some more, the Ewoks. I need to divide this up because there's too many dead pictures in here. It's kind of getting senescent or old. This one is Kalina, I think. Oh man, what even is back here? So here is an unfortunate big orange H minor. It's still alive. You can see it has a little growing point, but the mother plant just melted away and died. It didn't melt, I guess. It just like withered away and died when it came over, unfortunately. But it's still alive, and I got a few cuttings off of it, but they're still small. But unfortunate that I lost my big, size when it shipped. This is the mother plant of the, I think, the Pachella from Churi Tipui. It was, as I mentioned, getting senescent. I had to cut it back, divide it up. Seems to be bouncing back, although it reverted to a few juvenile pictures, but it seems like there's way more breathing room in there. So after another year, it should be doing very good. And of course, the big one is Expendiculata, getting way too big. Way too many dead pictures in there. I need to go in and clean it up and divide it up. I could probably get like 3 or 4 big plants off that, or many, many more if I want to make smaller plants. So I moved some more of the plants at the back around, so it's a bit more open up in here. Have room for some more plants, and then we'll take a look at the tent where all the big helis went. Sarsineoides, I moved from the back probably to the lower level here. It might not stay in the front, so I probably need to move it to the back a bit more so that it's like too tall to be in the front. Kalina moved from the right side to the left side here. The H minor pilosa giant version. It's not getting enough light where it was before, so now should be getting more light there. Let's see, nothing too much else to say. Some of the neps will probably be moved to and from the tent, like for example this what's it called, Pitopangii. Keep adding another T in there. It's vining, so it's going to reach the top and burn itself soon. Yeah, and then I need to do a whole bunch of repotting maintenance of all the stuff in the back. I don't even know what's back there anymore, but it's probably choking itself out. And same for the, what's it called, the burgundy black H minor. Needs to be repotted a bit. All these need some division. I mean, spring is coming, so need to do early spring maintenance. It's a lot of work though. It's like one plant is fine, but when you need to do like 20 plants, man, it takes a whole day. I have the Rhopcanthellii on the right side here, getting the full brunt of the airflow. I think it could take it though. It has like waxy leaves and waxy pictures, so should be fine. Have more room up here. I need to divide the Ewok up. I did find that I have some other plants behind this. Behind this Uncinata is H minor selection A, whatever selection A means. You can see it kind of poking out back there. There's Chinamatensis mother plant. That's a big one. This one is Parva. There's another Newton's back there, I think, a Newton's. Yeah, and I don't remember which Pochella was this one that's getting the chloriosis right now, but I can't pull it out at the moment. It's going to be when I'm repotting. I have to pull it out and see. But otherwise, everything seems pretty good. Let's go look at a tent. Did I underestimate the height of my helis? Yes, I probably did. So these guys are too tall for the lights even, so these guys need to be moved down to the very bottom. I need to find some room in there, probably move some plants up. But we take a look at some of these. This is the heterodoxa that I don't really think is heterodoxa. It was starting to hit the plastic wrap, saran wrap on the top there. So that picture got a bit twisted, but it seems like it needs to be in here. Probably because there's not enough room for it, and it's getting way too big. It's also like kind of spreading out in this weird tree-like shape. So it's like, it's just too wide for its pot. Like it's like taking up another pot of space by sticking itself out. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll move them out as I show them, or move them to the back here. This guy's the heterodoxa. I think it's from the testicles foothills or something. think this picture got stuck underneath the egg crating, but now with in here it should have more room to grow. I'm gonna need to give it a repot and everything, some trimmings of all the dead pictures, but look at the helmet on the nectar spoon. Looks really nice. Some nice specimen pictures in there. Probably gonna get several plants divided up in here. Alright, let me take this guy out and show some other ones. Next on the line is Uncinata double bubble. I don't really see any double bubble looking behavior here. I feel like my giant has more of a double bubble than this one. But anyways, still a nice looking plant. Maybe needs to get bigger before it shows off any characteristics. I think the Tatia we already kind of saw too. Very nice and green. Probably needs to be divided. And then, what is this one? This one is the Expendiculata. Oh, this one's big. I can't even lift it out. Oh, shit. Look at it. So this side was facing the glass, so this one's not getting much light on the side, whereas the red side was facing the light. But it definitely needs a repot and a division. I do like the red flush on it, on the light side, the side with the light. But some of these are getting kind of flared because it's not getting enough light up there. But I do want the clone that is the giant bubble one, so looking forward to that one. I think that's the... Other than that one, I feel like I have enough Expendiculatas. I already have the Ewok. I already have a whole bunch of locations, I guess. So this one is Folliculata, one of the Tipuis. It just spreads out so much that it's hard to keep in a terrarium like this, right? But this picture is really nice. I think, was this side facing the glass? I think, yeah, these guys were all crushed against the glass. So hopefully now it has some more room to even expand, although it's expanding too much. So this is the Newtons. Newtons, I heard, yeah, all the Newtons in the cultivation are some sort of hybrid. You could tell because it's like glabrous. Although I don't know, maybe in the wild if they go around they could find one with glabrous, because this one is like losing a lot of light, like it was shaded or whatever. So because of that, maybe it's lost its hairs, but this one has hairs. And maybe it's how patchy it is. If you have patchy hairs, then maybe that means it's more of a hybrid. I don't know. Is this a patch? Or is that just a shadow? I think that's just a shadow. But you can see there's a few pictures where it's just completely glabrous. Does that mean it's a hybrid? I'm not sure. But this is from like one of those clones that are from like Wistuba or something. I forget which one. I'll put it on the screen if I can remember. But yeah, I mean, I need to know what a Newton's true nectar spoon is supposed to look like, because otherwise I have no idea. So what do we have on the right side here? We have a few undescribed species of Heliamphora. I think there was 3 before, but the one from Venimo became H. electrum. I do have one in a terrarium, but it's still kind of small. But we have 2 other ones still. One is from Acopan, so this one's AW1 clone from Acopan, and one's from Angosema. So that's this one. So I think these are all kind of related to Heterodoxa in some way, but because of the shape of the nectar spoon is different, they may one day become a new species. So this one is the Acopan one, got the nice flowers. It got kind of tangled up in between the other pictures, so it's kind of all wonky shaped. I need to cut this off too. But this one, the nectar spoon, is kind of like straight. It's kind of like a little straight paddle kind of thing, right? I mean, it kind of reverts a bit sometimes, but most of the time it's like this little straight thing. And then we have this other one that is more connected to the rest of the picture, whereas maybe I think Heterodoxa has more of a neck. It's hard to tell. I'm not a biologist, so I can't really say what makes these different from Heterodoxa or new species. But I mean, it does look different from the one that I showed before earlier. So yeah, that is Angosema and Acopan. So here's another Folliculata. This one's from, apparently this one is the one from Merospian Tipui, and the other one is from some other Tipui. I'll put it on the screen, but I forget where it was from. But But yeah, they say each folliculata has a different, like from a location, has a kind of different looking nectar spoon. So you kind of see it's kind of supposed to look like this, but you can see it's kind of dimorphic. So I was confusing this one was like Colino or something like that. But you can see, I think these were not getting enough light at the back, so maybe they got all elongated. So even on the same plant, it could look kind of variable. So who knows when they say, you know, this plant or whatever has this morphology. It's could just be sometimes soil conditions, lighting conditions, you know, or the age of the plant makes them kind of different. But folliculata, Meracipium tipui, it definitely needs a repot. It's in this tiny little pot. And here's a pot of Ex mediculata. This one's from Chimanta tipui. Now they also say they all have different looking nectar bubbles sometimes, but I don't know. I can't really see much of a difference. Although this one is much smaller than my other Ex mediculata. It's hard to say. So even this one has a nice big nectar bubble on it from my other larger Ex mediculata. So could be whatever lighting conditions, whatever age, you know, again. I do, again, want a giant bubble version just to compare. But Ex mediculata. Last but not least, a couple of Nibline. I have like too many cuttings of these Niblines now. I could probably make even more cuttings. Got a little small one on the side here that I could cut off. But yeah, they got the, what is it called? The glabrous stripe. Nibline is the one with the stripe down the middle, right underneath the nectar lid. Where it's like, in that stripe, it's smooth and it contains a lot of nectar glands, I guess. So, very nice. When this thing was small, I was like, is this even a Nibline? It doesn't have a stripe. Look, here's a smaller picture on it. Has no stripe. So it takes a while, I guess, to develop it. It needs to get much bigger. So you can see this is an offshoot of it, so it's a genetic clone. And it has no glabrous stripe. And I was like, man, maybe it's not a true Nibline, but once it gets big, you get the glabrous stripe. Let me look at the other one. So here is, so you can see once it gets this big, which is slightly bigger than these smaller ones, right? And it starts developing the stripe. And the problem is, I think while it was in my terrarium, the pictures, as they were growing, they were getting kind of caught underneath the rim of the picture before it. So it's getting kind of all wonky as it grew out. So now that it has some more room to move around, hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. But let me see. Turn this around a bit. This one has a nice stripe on it. Get the focus right on the camera. But yeah, probably can make a few more divisions off this, but these guys probably need to go all the way on the bottom because they're just too tall with my other two Nibline divisions. Just one more, I guess. This is my Cephalotus. Supposed to be a Hummer's giant, but as you can see, it doesn't look that giant. It just looks like a normal Cephalotus that's very red. In fact, if you told me this was an Eden Black, I would have believed you. But look how red it is. It's not even underneath that high of a bright of a light. It's with all my euphorbias and other random cacti right now during the winter dormancy. And I think the PPFD around this level is between 350 and 400. So it's not like crazy amount of light. Yet it just gets really red. Maybe it's because of the temperature. I don't know. Also, all of my Hummer's Giants are clones from the same cutting, like cuts from the same plant. I just put them in different soil mixes. Seems like this soil mix it didn't do too well. It was 1 sphagnum, 1 part perlite. So 1 sphagnum perlite. I do find that this pot dries out really fast. So right now it's like very light. So maybe that's why it's not doing as hot. Whereas this one is in 1 part peat, 1 part peat, 1 part sand, 2 parts perlite. So some peat, some sand. It seems like this one's doing pretty good. So maybe I'll keep using a mix like this. Right now most of them are using mixes where it's like 1 part peat, 2 parts sand, kind of. What I expect a Hummer's Giant to look like, but this is an Agnes clone. So, I don't know. If someone can find me a legitimate source of a Hummer's Giant, I will be up to trying another clone in case I have a non-Hummer's Giant. I mean, it's from a reputable grower, and underneath their care it looked like a Hummer's Giant, but I don't know. Maybe I need to move some of my Hummer's Giant divisions into here so they're underneath the same conditions and then compare it. I think that is all I have for today. Of course, I'm going to reorganize the middle layer here, but nothing we need to see on camera. I think that nothing else. I don't think I forgot anything. I do have some more plants like ant plants and bunch of pachypodiums, euphorbias, those like desert succulents kind of things, but they're in kind of dormancy right now, so nothing really too interesting to look at. So maybe during the spring I'll make another video of those. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Other than that, I guess happy growing.